Good morning. Good morning, everybody. And sorry to do that to you. We had to unplug and replug in. Let me go delete the earlier live stream so people aren't frustrated. Um, I'm not sure what we had going on. We picked up on it a little bit last night. I hope it doesn't come back. There we go. And we're ordering. Trey, the machine is working. Oh, well, that's wonderful. We just got notification that we have been what they call monetized on YouTube. Well, that's great. Welcome to the YouTube Partner Program. I don't know what that means entirely, but you know what? We'll take it. Um, whoops, we got a little loser there. Let's go delete this earlier post. Yep, that's good news for us. Let's see here. And I'm gonna delete forever the earlier. Like, yep, you have to have like so many members and so many hours watched. And it was nothing that we were chasing. You know, we were aware of it. This is on YouTube. So we do appreciate the like buttons and spreading the word. It's how we grow. It's how we create awareness. And so that is a little milestone there. All right. So all right. We're getting a little bit of chops here. And but the program is running. All the trades are going in on their own as they should be. And now, if we didn't let this run overnight, we did not. Um, what we did was we suspended, and we had about we had about $1,000 profit, and we decided to let that run with a stop loss of about 500, and that's what happened. We got stopped out. We had 500, and then we had to rearm it, and she wasn't ordering. Had we, and there's another winning trade though. That's a beautiful thing. Had we run it overnight, let me show you what we would have done. Yep, we would have done about 1,300. So that's okay. Now, Swing Machine is kicking ass. Absolutely kicking ass. This is what Swing Machine is capable of doing. Now, trust me, we have trades in and around Swing Machine. We have multiple accounts. We have multiple buckets of money to do different things with. And but we're giving you this smaller view, and it's your opportunity to watch and to ask any questions. If you are an annual member and you want to know, don't hesitate, right? Annual members may slide by on YouTube, although they have a Zoom link. Don't hesitate, if you want to know, Don, what do you got it set at? And what's the brick size? And what are the profit targets? And anything else, we're happy to tell you. We're not going to tell everybody on YouTube. We can't do that. That wouldn't quite be fair. But our members, whatever you want. That's the way that works. Now there are 24 trading days in a month. 24. Take Fridays off, okay? Take Fridays off. Now there are 20. $100 a day, $100 a day is 2,000 a month. $1,000 a day is 20 grand. That ain't bad. That's okay. That's all right. Let me tell you, it's all right. That's trading one contract, one mini contract. We're not trading 10 here. You know, Bagger doesn't need the juice. I don't. I'm not a gambler, right? I don't go to casinos. I'm not a gambler. This isn't gambling. This is trading. We provide our trading, your trading, you haven't realized it, provides the market liquidity that people need to do other things. Without traders providing liquidity, there would be no market. You would just have bubbles, which you kind of do, right? We are in the minority. You are in the minority. Yeah, there's another winning trade. Oh man, I like that. I like it. Teddy does too. Now, I'm going to let you know it's 10 o'clock. I have to do this, right? I'd love for you to be watching all day, but you're gonna have to join if that's what you want to do. But as an annual member, monthly members don't get the live Zoom feed. It just isn't fair. You can't, monthly members are, we provide the video at night for swing information. And but if you want to be an intraday trader, you need to be an intraday trader, right? And we'll help you get set up. But what was I going to say? Um, we do need the computer resources. So for better or for worse, let me just let you know in advance, because we got waylaid there at 9:30, we got the start time at 10. At 11 o'clock, we're going to need to sign off. I don't know where the account's going to be. I hope it's still up. May not be. But we're not doing these YouTube sessions trying to prove an outcome. We're not. All right. So just know that. Um, we do the YouTube sessions to give you a glimpse of what program trading can look like, right? And we're not doing the YouTube sessions so that you can pick off a delayed trade or two, because that's what you would be doing, and that's not going to help you long term. That's not. But we just want to give you a glimpse of what it looks like, of what it could be. Makes sense? All right. So, but at 11 o'clock, we will have to sign off. And but we're gonna let you watch. I'm gonna shut up. I'm not gonna be beating my gums day after day after day. But we are gonna try for the near term, holiday week, Happy New Year. We are gonna try to punch up around 9 o'clock each day. That's what we're thinking for about an hour. And answer some questions, punch up, give you a view, create some awareness. Again, we just got notification. We didn't even know it was coming. We just got notification from YouTube that they're congratulating us that we have been what they call monetized. I don't even know what that means, but it's a little feather in our cap. When I think about when we started Stock Market Caddy, we had like 100 people seeing the website a month. I'm like, wow, there's 100 people out there watching or going by. So um, today it's over 10,000. That's crazy to me. A month. Now it's a month, right? Now, if Bagger had some cleavage, that'd be scary. It'd probably be a million. So I'm not going to be a stock influencer. We never thought that, right? And I'm not going to be showing any hairy cleavage. Oh my God, that's a scary thought. But we've been monetized. We have to hit a minimum number of subscribers on YouTube, and we have to maintain a minimum number of watched hours in a year. And we've done that too. Um, like I say, it wasn't something that we were gunning for. It wasn't something, it's just like, oh, little feather. So I'm going to have to get educated and find out what that means. I really don't know. Um, it won't matter too much because we, this is the beautiful thing, right? I really do think that young people, I hope they know this. You're living, we are living in a magical time. Things are being democratized. Things are being individualized. The the old days of going to work for, a big company, companies, and God knows Susie and I did that, right? We did that. And it was great. Don't get me wrong. It was great. But there was a lot of shit around that too, right? Had to do a ton of traveling and conference calls and quotas. And when I think about it, I mean, when I started my very first, I worked for National Cash Register, right? I mean, we had a quota every week, every week. Now, I had worked with good people, nice people, but we had a quota every week, every month, and And then, became very kind of highly specialized in the surgery environment, but, huge pressures, but we just lived with it. It just was. But we had all kinds of training things we had to do and flying around and relocation and so a lot of stuff. Um, and it just nothing, that was kind of what you did, right? But today it's so democratized. I mean, there's so many different things that people can do from wherever you live. You don't have to live in Miami or LA or Chicago or in any of these other, major cities. You can live wherever you want to live and pretty much do whatever the hell you want to do. There is so much, and that's what I mean by the democratization of a lot of stuff. It's everything is changing that way. And I think it's for the better. I really, really do. Now, I happen to, settle in on this trading. I think it's just suits. It's always something I was always interested in. I really enjoy it. I'm here because I want to be here. But I couldn't have done this, right? I mean, we started this in the early 2000s. I couldn't have done this. I always remind Susan, I couldn't have done this before the year 2000. It wasn't here. The brokerages weren't set up for it. The costs were too high. The taxes would have been exorbitant to do it. You didn't have the technology. We just didn't have it. But the moment we had it, I knew we had it. And I knew it had changed. I'm like, this is the moment, Susan. We need to do this. Okay. Okay. Okay, Don. Let's do it. Susie and I have been together. I married an older woman. I was 17. Susan was 18. We met at a college orientation and they asked us what we like in life. And we're all sitting around in a circle, all getting to know each other. Susan said, I like the beach. You know what I liked? To have a good time. That's what I said. And she giggled. They all did. That was my thing. I like to have a good time. And the next thing you know, um, later that day, say, hey, Donnie Marshall, want to come over and have lunch with us girls? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Blonde, blue-eyed. Um, folks, whatever it is you're doing, I hope you're having a good time. This is supposed to be fun. Life is supposed to be fun. Whatever it is you're doing, stop, think about it. I hope you're doing what you want to do. And if you're in something or in a spot that you're not, that's okay, right? There are times, there was times in when I look back at my career, that I felt that I suddenly got trapped into a situation, where you feel trapped. Um, but I was always running towards something, not running from something. I can honestly say that looking back on everything that we ever did, I was always running towards something. And when we started to do what we were doing, that was stock market caddy wasn't even a thought, but I was running towards something. I wasn't running from it. I think if you're running towards something, you're going to do just fine. And you're going to thoroughly enjoy whatever it is. So, any case. Happy New Year. Let me know if you get any questions. Be sure to visit the website. And, we have so much to share with you. We just can't do it in a video. We can't. And it's really hard pressed to do it in 3 weeks. We're going to try to, you know, regroup the Q school, but in the meantime, that's where it is. It's 3 weeks plus. You're going to learn a lot. We're also going to learn a lot from you. And but we're going to let you watch. Now, we're not setting the world on fire here. This isn't, super high frequency trading and, we're just, printing money like that. I mean, there are some programs that can do stuff like that, but that's not what we're showing here right now. This is just some modest program trading. We got 20 days in a month. We could stop, right? If you're up $656, you could, flip the switch and stop, and then you got to go find something to do for the rest of your day. You got to go cut firewood. You got to go play some golf. You got to go fishing. You got to play with the kids. You got to paint the house. I don't know. You got to go do something. You sit down and read. That's okay. Um, that's why I say, and I'm serious about this. One of the biggest challenges you're going to have as a successful trader is finding something else to do. That's why I have Stock Market Caddy. I mean, I'd be pretty lonely. We have 4 or 5 people coming by, so I get to chat with you, and and it keeps life at least interesting, especially when you ask questions and you want us to plug anything in. I'm happy to do it. So I'm going to be in and out actually this morning here. I got to take Ted for his morning constitutional walk here. But you're watching everything that you see on the screen here is completely automated. This is Swing Machine up above, ever present of what we're doing. And yes, if you had taken the 5 minute at 7:05 and you could have programmed the machine to do it, and if you had had one mini contract in, now at that hour, how much margin would you have needed in your account? $18,000. Now you're up 6,000, not a bad return. At 9 a.m., at 9 a.m., how much do you need? 1,800. Mm, right. So, you got to give some thought to when you're going to be trading, and you have to, get educated about, margin requirements and so forth. It's nothing, outrageous. I mean, it's just an education. Need to learn how the game is played. But on a 5 minute basis, the mean is at 21,350, and we are headed, we're below the mean. So the bears are in the charge here. This is a little counter move up. That's all. This is all done by the machine. This is the trend caddy. This is the four caddy. This is the divergent tool. And this is the ball marker. These are the C points. And then the strategy is the same strategy we ran last week, which was a very nice strategy, or very nice outcome last week. So we said, you know what, let's just stay put. And, I think you need to, just enjoy wherever you are. God, I think, man, the first Christmas of Susie. So Susie and I met in the fall, our college semester fall, and we already knew. I mean, we were already head over heels, almost instantly. And I will say instantly for me, she probably wouldn't. Yeah. Um, oh God. I maybe embarrassed myself. You know what she said to me? We had known each other for a couple of weeks, and she said, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't even think she let me kiss her yet. And old fashioned. And so I'm gonna have to go home and think things over. She was from Cape Cod. And she said, I don't know if you're gonna be my boyfriend or you're gonna be my brother. Ah, oh, I was like kind of crushed. And you know what I said? I said, well, little Susie, and I said, I meant it. I said, don't get me wrong. I said, but you're going to need to figure things out, figure it out really fast. I said, because I want you to know I have three sisters and I love them all dearly, but I don't want another one. I don't. I said, so enjoy your weekend going back home. But when you come back, you're gonna have to let me know. But I took the sisterhood or the brotherhood thing. That was off the table. That wasn't happening. Can't believe I even said it. And I said it with a smile. And she's like, okay. But so when she came back, I said, what is it? And I think I got my first kiss. We've been together all this time, which is great. And it's a great life. I'm appreciative of it every day. And I hope you are. I hope you are doing what you want to do. And I hope, you know, that you are working toward it. I think that if you're also trading and you have a spouse, a partner, a supporter, and you're doing this, and you're getting an education, and we say this too during the Q school, although they may not be a trader, I think that you should, and we share this, there's certain things that you want to be sure to share with them so that they have an understanding of what it is you're doing. Because to the person who isn't a trader, they may see you just sitting in the office staring at a screen and it doesn't look like work. It doesn't look like it, but it is, right? You know it, I know it, but they may not know it. And so you have to have a conversation with them, not to make them a traitor, but just to make them aware of what it is you're doing and what it is you're trying to do. It's very, very, I think it's very, very important. And and Susan and I at every turn, at everything we did, I mean, that was, well, I just told you in 2 seconds, the kernel of our relationship, and it was very honest. It was very, we weren't trying to be somebody we weren't. We were young kids and and that first Christmas, by the way, we lived in on the campus and it was up in Weston, Massachusetts, and I got Susan um a set of skis. I didn't have any money. I didn't have much money, but I was able to get a brand new pair of Rossignol skis. I think they may have even been wood. I think so. Had her named engraved on them. Here we live in Florida. She still has them. She won't let me sell them. I don't know if anybody would buy them in Florida. I don't think they're probably worth anything, but they were beautiful little skis. And but we didn't have anything. We didn't have anything. I mean, we didn't even have, I think about it, we didn't even have a credit card. And I had a car. I had a little bit of cash and then we worked in the off hours on the breaks. And we were driving around New England, going to ski resorts and everything else. And we'd be like Men's Day, Ladies' Day, College Day. That was next to nothing, right? It was like the two of us was like $10 a day or something to ski. I mean, today is what, about $100, I think, a couple $100. Ridiculous. But we didn't even have a credit card. I think about it, it's like, what would we have done if the car broke down? I don't even know. Um, And we didn't have cell phones either. It was much simpler time. It was a much easier time, actually, in some respects. And so today, to bring it full cycle, if you're a young person and maybe like young people, it's wasted on the youth, they don't realize, but what opportunities everyone has. And I hope the young people recognize it because they may take themselves in untraditional paths. I think the parents may be leading them toward a traditional path. Um, I would be, I don't have kids. We don't have them at that age, but if I did, I think I would be very, very thoughtful with them about saying that, you know what, maybe you don't have to follow, you know, mom and dad's path, of going to these leftist madrasas and getting yourself into debt, three, 400,000 and doing that nonsense. I'm not, I don't know about that. Maybe for certain degrees, but I don't think for a lot of the young people that that's going to be necessarily the best path. I think it's kind of ludicrous what they're charging, and I don't like the idea that they're saddling young people with that kind of debt. And did you see too, by the way, and I'll leave everyone with this. I found this shocking, and I think this is where it's going to, manifest itself in the market too. Do you know what the average age of a new home buyer is? The average age of a new home buyer. Any idea? I mentioned this last night. Same folks. 56 years old. 56 years old. That's not good. That is not good. I mean, we were 25 when we bought our first home, a new home. And granted, interest rates were at 14.5, but we did what we had to do, and we understood if young people, what they're doing, they're Uber living. They're renting. And this is like they're living in a timeshare life. That's not good. They don't own anything. And maybe because they can't own anything, because they've been saddled with debt, and the debt's going to come due. They always do. Always do. And back to the markets. I don't know exactly what the dollar is doing. And I don't invest on this. I don't trade on this. So please understand that. It's an academic exercise. It's just some thought. But what do you think is going to happen here? I think at some point the debts are going to come due. The rates are going to rise and continue to rise. And the dollar, for all this talk about, oh, the dollar's trash. No, the dollar, I think there's a case to be made that the dollar could go into a bubble, that there could be a mad dash for cash, and people will be selling everything to pay their debts. They will be selling stock. They will be selling their houses if they own any. They will be selling their cars. They will be selling their clothes. They will be selling everything to pay the debts. And if they can't pay the debts, you know what happens. Money goes into money heaven value. People are going to eat it. And when you're selling like that, what you need to have isn't Bitcoin, not Fartcoin. You'll be selling that too. I'm not saying you guys, but they will be selling that too. They're going to need dollars, and they're going to be in short supply, in my view. Maybe I'm wrong. So there was a time, back 10, 15 years ago, and 20 years ago, when the dollar was trash. Now, I think ultimately, long term, that bubble will be easy, that the cash bubble will be easy, or the dollar bubble will be easy to extinguish because they'll just do QE again. But it'll be at a much different place in time. That's what I think. But I'm not going to trade that. I'm not going to invest in that. You can just jot it down. You can play the game too. Let us know what you think, how it's going to play out. And by the way, um, I do this sort of thing. I'm looking at it now. I wrote a letter to myself, copied Susan, of course, and in 2009, when we became aware of quantitative easing, then I wrote a letter describing what quantitative easing was and is and how it would end. And it would end with a dollar bubble. It would be just the opposite. Now, I didn't think it would be this long. I didn't. I did not. I thought it was like maybe going to be 4 or 5 years. And you go back and watch some of the videos, I would comment on something like that. Again, we weren't trading and investing in on any of that. I wouldn't because you never know the timing. But we're going to live it. It's going to be a great ride. I think next year is going to be really, really volatile. Have fun, everybody. We're going to let you watch. Kind of rambled along there. And I hope you're having fun. And I hope that you're watching this and saying, geez, this guy's doing something that I haven't seen before. This would be fun. I would like to do this. That's why we do it. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for stopping by. We're Stock Market Caddy. I'm Baggard on, and we're not setting the world on fire this morning with our little program. We have been as up as much as 13, 1400, and some of this last minute chop has pulled that back. Remember, as a trader, you get to decide when you start, you get to decide when you turn off, right? So I'm a little more patient with the programs at the beginning of the week and, beginning of the day. You might be less patient. Susan is, Susan would have, she would have been like, I'm done, so, but I'll let them go. This particular program, now also too, we don't have just one program. We got dozens. And even this program, there are going to be decisions that you need to make as a program trader, how you want to run it, when you want to run it, what parameters you're going to use. That's going to be up to you, you know. Now we can give you guidance. And if you're an annual member and you send me an email, say, hey, Don, that program you're running today, what are the settings? I'm going to tell you. It's no big deal. But, but you might want to, we want you to take responsibility for your own settings, your own programs. It's your money, it's your time. You're the coach, right? If you're coaching a team, you want to run the plays that you want to run, right? Now, I don't want to give anyone the impression, you should not have the impression that, that you're going to go out there and corner the market, that we got something super, super, super secret. Um, and that we're cornering the market. No, no. Um, it is proprietary. It is sophisticated. Some are very simple. This is kind of simple, but it's involved. But it's all programmed, and um, we have very modest expectations, right? We're just looking to extract cash flow from the money flow each and every day, look to shut down and go do it another day. Because again, if you're trading futures, and why do we trade futures? And by the way, less than 9% of the investing and trading public trade futures. Isn't that ridiculous? That's so ridiculous. What are they afraid of? It's beautiful. They're beautiful. We trade them because why? They're highly liquid. Liquid. The difference between the bid and the ask is really, really small. They're leveraged. That's good. Also, too, I'm trading a mini. You could be trading a micro. So instead of I'm up 100, 200 on that trade, you would be up 20 bucks, 1/10 the size. I'm up 320 right now on that trade, 400. You would be up $40. So it's scalable. You get to learn. This trade's now up $500. You would be up 50, right? Now, if you put 10 of them on, which I don't suggest you do when you're new, and we probably got members that do, they're up $5,000. The banks play here, and the machine just took a profit. Did you see that? I didn't do that. I don't put my hand on that mouse. Hands off. Now we're up $600. What do you want to do? So I'm just playing along with you so that you get an idea. You're going to have to make some decisions, a few, like when do you start? Now you're up 600. Well, what is your daily goal? What is your weekly goal? What is your monthly goal? Have you given it any thought? Now, if you're trading futures, again, there are 24 days if you trade on Sunday nights, which is a great time, but maybe you want to take Fridays off, so now you're down to 20. If you make $600 a day, how much money is that? It's 12,000 bucks a month. You know, not gonna make you super rich. You're not gonna be living with Dave Portnoy out of Martha's Vineyard. Want to have that jackass as a neighbor? Not me. No thanks. But it could be nice. You ever think about what wealth is? What is wealth? What does it mean to be wealthy? I had this conversation with Susie a long, long time ago. What is it? Is it a number? Is it 1 million? Is it 2 million? Is it 10 million? Is it 50? Is it what is it? I'm not saying, I mean, you get to a certain point, certainly it's wealthy, but what is it? When your monthly income exceeds your needs and wants, and you can repeat that, you're wealthy, kids. That's what it is. It isn't a number. It's a mindset. The money is a byproduct. And I hope you're not working your whole life chasing a number. The financial industry, that's what they want you doing. No, no. You want to be educating yourself. You want to be building towards something that you can repeat. You want to have a skill set that very few have. And you want to have a monthly income that is repeatable and exceeds your needs and wants. And you'll have a fantastic life and a fulfilled life. You know, when I made the decision to go into the area of surgery, see, I started out as a salesperson at National Cash Register, NCR. It was good. It was a good company, good training. It was good. And but I wanted to specialize. I wanted to do something that very few were doing. So we were in Miami, and I thought, a lot of old people down here. And I ran into some people that I had reason to be in a hospital for business, and I ran into a person down there. But long story short, there's a ton of salespeople out there. There's a ton of salespeople out there in the medical industry. There's a ton of salespeople that call on a hospital, but there's very, very few people that call purely on surgery in a surgery environment. And I was thinking about, as I discussed this with Susan, that's why I think you want to think about some of the things you're doing. So, well, where are you going to go, Don? What are you going to try to do? And why are you going to do it? And I said, well, Susie, we live in Florida. We got a lot of old people. And, you know, we don't really have a lot of industry down here, but we got all these hospitals. So I think I want to get involved calling on hospitals, but I didn't know anything about it. And and so I started getting educated and asking questions, talking to neighbors and doctors and nurses, and then it was described to me, and I didn't know anything about a hospital. And they said the profit center of a hospital is surgery. That's where all the action is. That's where I want to go. That's what I want to do. I want to be in surgery every day. And I set out to try to do that. That was not that easy. I didn't have any experience there. I didn't have a nursing background. I had not even taken a biology class. And I couldn't even get to talk to anybody. They didn't have LinkedIn and all that crap. I think that's crap is a disservice. So I started calling all the companies and I started asking who their regional managers were. And back then they would tell you. And I got hold of a guy, his first name was Martin, and I called him. He lived in Atlanta, and he was a former major in the Marine Corps, kind of a no-nonsense guy. And I called him. I said, I'd like to interview with you. He worked for a really big company, and he handled the Southeast United States. And he said, why should I hire you? You don't have this, you don't have that, you don't have this, you don't have that. And really, it was a stretch. So I really got to meet with you. I really don't have time. You're too young. You don't have this, and you just don't. So I really, want to meet with you, Martin. And he said, well, look, I'm not going to be there anytime soon. Maybe the next time I come to Miami, we can get together for a break. I said, no, I said, I tell you what I'll do. Maybe the next time you come to Florida, I'll come to you. And he paused for a minute. And he says, well, as a matter of fact, an annual meeting and it's in Longboat Key next week. I said, I'll fly to you. He goes, you're going to fly to me? He goes, I'm not paying for it. So that's okay. I'll fly to you. And I said, okay. He goes, but I can only meet with you for 10 or 15 minutes. And it's going to have to be in the morning before my breakfast. And so we're very young, not a lot of money. I didn't even fly the night before, but I bought my own plane ticket, got an early flight, flew to Miami or from Miami to Tampa, rented a car, drove down to Longboat Key, and sat in the lobby of this conference center waiting on Martin. And it's actually all the people, and they were all older. They were all 30s and 40s. I was in my 20s. And I think he almost forgot that I was coming. And we we sat down across from each other and he gave me a little basically a job interview. And he told me all the same things. You don't have anything. And, I just said, yeah, I don't. But what I do have, Martin, what I can show you is that I have and I have this and I have that. I won't go through the interview, but an aptitude to learn. And then as I'm talking to him, um, some guy goes walking by and he says, "Good morning, Martin." And he's carrying a boat anchor, a boat anchor. And it just like caught me, and I'm like, I said, "Does he work for you?" And he goes, "Yep." And this guy like 35 years old, and he's carrying a boat anchor. We're in the breakfast area of this conference room. There's like, he's got like, it's like 100 people. There was a lot of people there. And I said, Martin, I said, I'm just kind of curious, why is he carrying a boat anchor? He says, because his sales suck. He goes, he's dragging me down. He's dragging this division down. And whoever is in last place has to carry that boat anchor. Whenever we go to meetings, you got to carry it because you're dragging it. I looked at it, I said, Martin, I said, you give me this opportunity, I will never, ever carry that boat anchor. Ever. He's like, okay. I never did. I never did. Never carried the boat anchor. Wasn't going to be denied. You have to want to do something. You have to want to do this because you are going to be challenged. Not from me, the market. They're going to challenge you in so many different ways. In the noise around it, you're going to have to be focused. Don't pay attention to everyone in that breakfast room. Did I see them? Yes. And what did I see? I saw they were wearing very successful business suits. They were in their 30s and 40s, and I'm, a babe in the woods. I'm in my 20s with no experience in my one blue suit. I had one or two blue suits. And but I wasn't going to be intimidated by that. I knew what I was capable of doing, given an opportunity, given an education. Just give me the education, Martin. Let me know what I need to do, and then execute. You have to be able to execute and be a little bit fearless. It's the same. But I'm sure you all are very successful in your own careers and can relate to different things. You will draw on that, and I will learn from you. One of the things that came about when we formed Stock Market Caddy that I didn't expect is that, and there's another trade, she went short. Okay, did you see that? She took it short. Doesn't look so good to my eye, but I'm not going to second guess it. I could, right? I could second guess some of these trades, right? I could intervene. I could. You could. I mean, you might stop. We're up, 1,200 bucks. You might stop. That'd be okay. That'd be all right. And that we teach too, quitting early. But I'm going to let you watch. But this trading for us, this isn't, a lark. This isn't some, it's a game in that we try to make it fun, but it isn't just a game. Who is that? Let me come right back to you. Okay, sorry about that. Now you did see that it did run up and then it took itself out, right? So it's playing a very modest game here right now, right? When people ask us a lot of times like, I want to play high frequency. Sometimes, that's good and sometimes that isn't, right? So you want to decide, and we can make adjustments, and some of these programs can make adjustments in a live environment, right? So sometimes you want to play it really close to the vest, sometimes you don't. And that's depends, right? So it isn't, it's just like playing in a football game. It isn't, quarterback sneak necessarily every day. Sometimes might want to pass over the middle. Sometimes you might get some wood in the trade. You get up 14, 15, $1,600 and you say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try to stretch something and you can run a different play that is going to maybe put 2 or 3 grand in your pocket without much risk, right? So you can do that sort of thing, but you got to understand the game, right? You got to understand. Um, and that's what takes us 3 weeks. It probably should be longer, but that's all we can afford time-wise. Um, but we cover a lot of ground and your trading will mature over time. It absolutely will. So in any case, I tell some of those old stories, and So you get a little bit of idea of who we are, where we come from, who I am, real person, and you know, maybe you identify. If it resonates with you and this approach resonates with you, I think we're doing something very, very different. I see what's online. I don't see anyone doing what we're doing, and I don't hear anyone describing what we're doing too. I hear the same shit, you know. I got, sign up today. We got the super duper secret this or secret that. Um, again, we have some very sophisticated proprietary stuff, but I'm not presenting. I don't want anyone to join just because of Swing Machine. I don't want anyone to join just because of the necklace. I don't, and if you're sitting back, I want to know your win-loss ratio. I want to know what your performance is. Stop and think about that. Really, right? Why? Why? I could understand a person wanting to know someone's performance record if they're going to be managing my money. I'm not going to be managing your money. I don't manage people's money. I don't, our machinery will be chock full every night as a monthly member, and we chock full as an annual member of trade opportunities and things. But it's going to rely on you, on you. What's your performance? So a lot of people, they not really prepared for that. And that's actually a lot, the vast majority. And that's okay. That's okay. We're not saying that everybody should do this. Not everyone's capable of doing this, right? If you have somebody that has grown up with, oh, I put my money with that boutique broker and, I invest in Verizon because it's got a dividend and I'm going to invest for the long term and yield rates are doing this and the economy is doing that and inflation's doing this and deflation and blah, 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 and just parroting all the economic mumbo jumbo, you know, um, they just probably not going to make it. They may not make it because their head has been filled with a bunch of bullshit, especially if they went to Princeton or Yale, going over. I'm not impressed with that, by the way. I'm not. Uh, it was, a long time ago, and I took a job promotion when I was about 29, and I was going to have to be managing about 15 to 16 people at that point, imagine. And, I go from no experience to getting in a place, and I'm like, um, why do you guys want me to do this? I mean, because like they're like 15 to 16, they were mostly men then. Actually, they were all men, young men, but they had pedigree that was not, I didn't have that. I went to a state school in Massachusetts, and these kids went to William and Mary. They had gone to Villanova. They had gone to Yale. They had some great educations. And here this company was asking me, I'm like, why are you asking me to manage them? I mean, don't you think you ought to be asking them? And one of the things they said to me it was another relatively, he was a young guy. He was probably about 40. He says, Don, he said, you're exactly the reason why we want to hire you, or not hire you at this point. We want to promote you to this because you don't give a shit about their education. That's what he said. He goes, you're not, I don't know what the word was, but he goes, it doesn't impress you. He goes, and it's fine. They got great educations done, but you know what this job is and you know what we're trying to do. And, you know, yeah, they're not going to like it because you can get an Ivy League education and they're going to be working for you. But, you're the guy we want. So in any case, um, the schooling or the education that you have or that you get, um, really doesn't matter in life unless you apply it. You got to apply it. And so we're going to provide you the education. We're going to provide you the tools, but I can't promise you an outcome because I don't know. And me, you may not know, may not. If you will and can apply it, I can only show you the way. So that to that extent, I can't give you experience, and I wish I could. And it's successful experience that gives you the confidence. And I think back, and you will think back in your own career. The very first surgical job I took, I had given notice to National Cash Register, which was a really good job. I had been there for a few years, and it was a really good job, and I was doing well, and would have had a career path, and I gave notice, and I went to work for a surgical company, and I didn't really understand and know what it was really. I know I was going into surgery, but I didn't. Susan even asked me, "What's that all about, Don?" And I'm like, "I think I'm going to go into surgery, Sus. You ever been into surgery, Don?" No. What, you really going to go in there? You're going to be like in the surgical suite where the patient is and the surgeon? I think so. I didn't really know. I said, I think what it is, Susan, I think I'm going to be like in a stadium, like looking down. Remember the scene from Seinfeld when George was eating the Junior Mints with Kramer, and he flung a Junior Mint up in the air and it fell into the surgical suite and fell into the patient. They're like, right. Seinfeld wasn't out then, but I described to Susan that that's where I was going to be. I was going to be up above looking down type thing. And it has to be. I can't be in there with the patient. I was wrong. I had already given notice. And the very first day, the guy takes me in. I won't even say the hospital. It was a hospital in down at Fort Lauderdale, big, big hospital. And it turned out to be an orthopedic case. And I had to go in. Now, I don't touch the patient, but I had to go into the surgical suite with the surgeon and the nurses. And it was just, I remember it. The sound, the smells, the light, it was like nothing I had ever seen before. It was like wiggy. It was really, and I started to sweat. I started to beat up. I'm like, holy crap. They're like, just don't touch anything. Okay. And then I start watching, and they're doing their thing, and it was an orthopedic case. They're putting in a total knee, and they start banging away on the bone, and sawing away, and I start to feel faint. I'm like, oh shit, I don't feel good. I had never fainted in my life. I'm like, I don't feel good. So I said to the guy that I was working with, he was an older guy, right? He was my trainer. I said, I gotta go to the restroom. I'll be right back. So, okay. So I leave. I'm in scrubs, right? I got a mask on. I go into the restroom and I'm like, man, that was close. I was ready to pass out. And I took the mask off. I look at myself in the mirror and I splash water on my face and I'm panicked. All kinds of things are racing through my mind. The first thing I'm racing through my mind is I've already given notice at NCR. And I'm thinking, will they take me back? I don't think so. I can't go back. Can't go backwards. That wouldn't be good. I don't have a cell phone right in the day. I can't call Susan. I can't. I'm like, what am I going to do? And I did think about it. I'm like, maybe I just go back to the lounge, get dressed, and leave. This isn't going to be for me. Or I could splash water on my face, take a deep breath, and go back in. I mean, what are we going to do? I mean, I felt sick, and that's what I did. I go back in. And when I go back in, everybody, the room was kind of quiet before, and then they all start laughing and joking, and they're like, "Hey, you won the pool, you won like $15, Doc." And I'm like, What's?" And they're all looking at me and they're laughing and joking. I'm like, "Okay, huh? Okay." And I just wanted to laugh. And they had all taken bets on whether or not I was coming back in. They all knew the trainer that I was with. He had a relationship with them, the nurse and the doctor and everybody that was in the room and right down to well, there was no orderly in there, but they got scrub techs. And they had all bet like $5 or $10. I think there was only one person. I think the surgeon, when the bet, he said that I was coming back. Everyone else, including the guy who was training me, said I wasn't coming back. But I came back in. And then it was like, okay, it was a light moment. And then the surgeon explained to me, he said, "Hey, Don," he said, "do yourself a favor and don't stare at the surgical field. It's got very intense light, and don't don't stare at it because your eyes are dilating." I'm like, okay. And then the nurse said, "Hey, Don, by the way, if you're feeling uneasy about this when you first start and you come in, don't watch the first incision, because that's kind of a different view." I'm like, "Okay." And then they started to help me, and they said, "Hey, and if you do start to not feel well or not feel faint, just make sure that you step back, away from the patient so you don't fall into the field. We don't want to have that. And if you got to go over and sit down and get a glass of water, step out, you can do that, Don." Now, they could have told me all that um, before, and I probably would have been okay, but it was a test. It was a test. Would I come back? I'm not sure today that the kids, the young people are being tested, you know, but I can promise you this, in these markets, you're going to get tested. You're going to get tested. May not be every day, but you will get tested. And are you going to quit? I don't know. You might. And, you know, um, if you quit, you won't do it, right? There was no, when I ultimately, when I described what I described was, there was just no going back for me. And it just wasn't in my nature to, to quit on much of anything. Um, there's no going back. Now, were there times in the early 2000s when Susan and I got started and I was like, "Man, Susie, this is really, really difficult." We didn't have all these tools and initially, right? We built these over time, which is, going to be hopefully very beneficial for you. But we didn't have these. The brokerages aren't going to provide these tools like this. They're not. They don't have time. They don't even have the experience. Most of those people don't even have the experience. Um, but there were times when Susan said, "Hey, Donnie, we can't go back. We can't go back to those, to that dogma." So it is, this isn't surgery. It isn't. Um, but we approached it like it was surgery, very precise, very thoughtful, and we're trying to provide financial or investment or trading outcomes through innovation. I borrowed that phrase, by the way. The company I worked for was improving surgical outcomes through innovation. I borrowed that phrase because that's what we were doing. In order for me to be able to converse with a surgeon, I wasn't a surgeon, but I needed to understand what he was doing. I had to understand the procedure. I needed to understand what and I had to be able to converse with him. I wasn't a surgeon. I didn't touch the patient, but I had to be able to talk in his terms. It's very important. Um, Trading is also the same. When you meet another trader, you will understand them. They will understand you. If you meet, a flyby, no, um, you're not going to let them anywhere near your trading, right? And those surgeons, by the way, if they were talking to somebody that they had no confidence in, there was no way in hell they would ever give you their cell phone. I had their private cell phone numbers and time, and I could come into their surgical suite at any time and be like, "Good morning, Don. Good to see you, Doc." They're not going to let just anybody do that. You crazy? Not gonna, they don't want to even be near you. So you got to help make their life easier, better, and a better outcome for their patient. Maybe not every single day, and that's where where the confidence comes from too. So it's very similar in the approach. What is very painful in the trading game is there's very few endeavors in life where if you don't perform, you get penalized. Even in golf, even in professional golf, maybe in the beginning, like I suppose they gotta pay for all their sponsors and all the entrance fees and everything. And if they don't perform, they lose. But like if you have another job or something and you don't get the sale or you don't get the thing, whatever it is, done on time or whatever it is you do, if you have an employer, they're not going to probably reach in and take money out of your pocket. Now, they might give you a bad review. You might, have to work overtime or something, but they don't take money out. This thing, the market, they're going to take money out of your pocket. It's painful, painful. We're at 11 o'clock, and I share the story with you because um, you all have your own educations, your own experiences. You're both in a career or in life. And I think it's really important that you bring those experiences with you and into the trading environment. I'm not out to change you. I'm not out to change your values. I'm not out. You're going to have a trading personality, and it's going to be unique. Everyone has one. And what all I'm going to try to do is over the course of a few weeks is to identify what that is, make you aware of some things, a lot of things that you don't know are available to you, and then enable you to kind of pick and choose. Are you going to be a scratch golfer in 3 weeks? Are you going to be, making $1,000 a day at the end of 3 weeks? Probably not. But then again, I don't like limiting any, but probably not, right? But can you be coming in, with modified leverage down and be making money and being profitable and tracking your profit factor, you know, if not every day, but every week? I think so. But you'll know you're going to answer that question for yourself, not me. And you don't have to compete with anyone. It's 11:14. I'm going to have to break away. I invite you. We're to the good $1,000. We're going to let her run. We'll try to update you a little bit later if we can. Look for us tomorrow. We're probably going to stay with the same program. We'll punch up at about 9 for about an hour. And I won't repeat all these old stories, but sometimes people are coming through that haven't come through. And we just got a pleasant email. I didn't even know it occurred. Um, the folks at YouTube just gave us a congratulations that we have been what they call monetized. or we've become approved as a YouTube partner. It's just a small achievement. You have to have a minimum of so many subscribers on YouTube, and you have to have so many thousands of hours watched in a 12-month period. And evidently we did that. Now, what does that mean for me? I don't know. But I like it. I like the fact that we're um, doing that. I also go to YouTube to learn different things. I'm watching a guy right now called The Miracle Swing, and I'm going to hire him to help me with my golf swing. I found him online. Here I've been golfing for 20 years, and I'm like, this son of a bitch is doing something I never thought to do. The hell? Susie, I think I need to take lessons from this guy, a mentor. So I'm going to do that. I'll let you know how I do, but I think I'm going to do just fine. The guy's really phenomenal. Um, here I have been playing golf all these years. Never, never heard anyone articulate what he's articulating. So if you're a golfer, by the way, check him out. I don't know him yet, but he's really good. All righty. We'll be here. I'm going to let everyone ask any questions, and then we're going to need to sign off. The 5 minute on Swing Machine is was still short from 705. As you know, it was up as much as what, 7 or 8,000, and now it's you see the ball flight kind of, and it's even hinting at a trend change here. See that trend change, and it's just rallying a little bit against the short, right? It's gone above the mean. The likelihood is the short is going to continue. The trend is still down. It's likely to continue. This is a little counter trend move. We're not trading this. We like to keep it up, but we can trade it, right? We can automate Swing Machine. We can do so many crazy things with this. This is some of the stuff that we can do, just as an idea. We can trade multiple markets in combination with each other or against each other. We can trade multiple markets in multiple time frames. We can take programs and put clocks on them, and then we can ask the computer to optimize not just the values and the inputs that affect the frequency of the trading, from high frequency to low frequency to mid frequency. But we can also ask the computer, well, what time of the day should we start? What time of the day should we end? Based on the last like 2 months of data. It's a model. We can ask the computer, how many times a day should we be trading? Should we be trading once or 10 times a day or more? We can program the machine to, if we know from the model that, I messed this up here, put that back up there. If we know from the model that the average length of time in a winning trade is like 16 minutes, then we can program the computer, if we're in the trade and it's over 16 minutes, we're not yet profitable, take us out. All kinds of things, all kinds of things. Um, it isn't just focused on what's happening right here, on a particular chart. Excuse me. There's a lot of things that we can do from a math standpoint. And that's what the hedge funds are doing. That's who they hire, right? But I'm not a physicist. I'm not. But I am, you know, I mean, 25 years in a surgical environment. I look at things from a scientific background, right? I mean, that was my thing, right? I had to be scientific with a surgeon. Susan is the math whiz. She worked for IBM, had nothing to do with medical, right? The sight of blood would make Susie pass. She didn't want to hear about it. We didn't talk about it. Um, but had the IBM background, had the software background, had the math background, and so that's it was just it's just a natural fit for us. Everything is. Each one of these bricks, by the way, Each one of these bricks is 200. Now, what I could be doing, which I'm choosing not to do, but I'll do it with Q School with you. We can brainstorm. There are so many different ways to be trading this and the information that's here. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but like these bricks are there's a count on these bricks. See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can size that counter so they fit in those bricks. See that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2. Notice here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice that the numbers are yellow and then they turn red. Notice here that they're yellow and then they turn green, right? That means something. It's programmed to do that. Is the C point. This is the ball marker. So many other things we can do. If I was trading this, if I was trading this manually, which I'm not with my mouse, but I can do that one day with you. We'll certainly do it in Q School. I would have bought maybe right here on number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're up $800. Right here, I would have bought on number 7. 1, 2. It's $200. Over here, I would have bought on number 3. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. This 600. Over here, I would have bought on number 4. This 200. As an idea. Again, we can program all sorts of things. But this program is trading these C points right now. If later this afternoon they rally this market and our members have Swing Machine up, they will see it. It's not possible. It's impossible for the market to do much of anything on any time frame for our members not to see it and understand exactly what they're doing on any market. It's impossible. Now, the challenge is, does the member or does the person or do you have the capital, have the experience, have the knowledge on how to exploit that while managing your risk? That is the Holy Grail. It's you, and you need that knowledge. And we're going to help you get it. I wish everyone the best. We do have to break away. I'll wait, see if there's any other questions, and then we'll wish you the best, and we'll punch up tomorrow and see how we do.